Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, like, share, all of the good stuff. And yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend. So we're back. And yeah, I know it's been close to about a month since I last came to you guys. There has been a lot that's transpired since then. I feel like I've lived about 5 lives. So we're definitely going to get into some things. But yeah, so I just recently moved. If you follow me on Instagram or keep up with me, I just moved like maybe like a couple of weeks ago, and I'm finally adjusted. I finally got adjusted. I love the neighborhood. I love the home. I moved into a townhome. It's a nice area. The only downside I would say to this move was or is the distance from here to work, which is still not too bad. I've gotten adjusted to that as well, except for today because traffic was crazy. I think it took me an hour to get home. I think it was an accident. But outside of that, unless something like that crazy happens, actually, to be honest, in Atlanta, you gotta expect traffic. You gotta expect traffic. Even when I lived like I think like 10 minutes. I live initially before I lived about 20 minutes away, or even less than that, maybe like 15 minutes away, and I still felt like I was in traffic getting home. So you know, whatever. It's cool though. But yeah, I like the place that I'm staying at. And I really have finally gotten to a space where I'm settled because the last couple of weeks I definitely went through a burnout. Your girl just don't know when to like take a break. Like if I have a if I have a vision or if I have a goal, it's like all gas, no brakes. And for someone who has lived off of, just survival mode for most of my life, you would have thought I would have learned my lesson. But I think that's something I think that comes from like childhood trauma. And that's something I'm working through in therapy. So, I'm still working through that. There's times where I do make sure that I give myself grace, but I do know in this season of my life, I'm trying to be more intentional and not allow my ambition to be louder than my wisdom. Because it's so many things I want to do. I did just enroll into school, like literally today. I was on the phone, and I was just like, I was talking about, what I wanted to do with the lady that was helping me go over a few things, and she was telling me what it all entailed, and I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and go through with it. And so I went ahead and enrolled, and so I have a few steps to finish. But yeah, outside of that, that's just today. But the prior weeks, the past couple of weeks, I think my body just went through a complete burnout because, for one, I started going through this move. And at the same time, I think with my body trying to adjust to a lot of the new changes that I'm making with my diet, working out. Now, mind you, I did start in January, but I feel like I upped the ante a little bit when I got a trainer. So a lot of things had started to change with my body. I had never been over 150 in my life. So now I'm at 160. And I think that's an adjustment. Also with me taking supplements, I had to go to the doctor a couple of weeks ago for my annual physical, and blood pressure was low, iron was low, everything low, okay? And I'm just gonna tell you guys, just make sure you take care of yourselves. Make sure you are taking care of yourselves. Now, granted, while I am a person that I would like to say I'm healthy, and I am very intentional about making sure that I eat right. I work out, that I also take care of my mental health as well, because that's just as important. But, sometimes you get caught up in life and you kind of just, you let things fall by the wayside. And so, yeah, that happened. My iron, I'm not going to lie, my iron has already been low for some time. And I think what happens is, okay, this might be TMI, But when my cycle comes on, it kind of depletes me. So when I went to the doctor that Monday, I had just been coming off my cycle. And so I think also working out on top of that, because what I usually do during my cycles, I don't work out during that week. I allow my body to do what it needs to do. But I think for some reason, I don't know what motivated me to go to the gym, but I did. I did. So, and I think also it's for my mental health. I will say working out has definitely helped me mentally, more than it has physically. I mean, it's definitely working, but I feel like I've always had a somewhat, uh, I've had a good physique for most of my life. Now, I will say there were times where I was very slim, very, very slim, where I might have looked unhealthy, which I didn't notice until I got, older. Or I wouldn't say older, but till I got in my 30s is when I started to realize, like, dang, I feel like I'm still shaped like a little girl. Like, when I'm going to put on my grown woman weight, I just felt like I just was never going to put on any weight. But I knew that this year I had to, what? I'm going to go ahead and up my protein. I'm going to work out and strength train. And so I did have to shift some things because I've worked out for a while, but I had to switch some things around with my workouts because I would incorporate a lot of cardio, and there were other things that I wouldn't do in an intense as I am now. Then I would do it as an upkeep, but now it's more intense. So that's another thing my body's trying to adjust to. I say all that to say, guys, like I said before, I am trying not to allow my ambition be louder than my wisdom. So what I mean by that is knowing when to be still, when to give yourself grace, not to push yourself too hard because of the pressures in life or because of what other people are saying or what other people are telling you to do. Because guess what? A lot of times people be trying to push you to do all this stuff and they ain't even doing half of what you're already doing. Now, granted, you do want people around you to motivate you and tell you, hey, you can do it, and to hold you accountable, because that is an important part to making sure that you stay up on your goals. But you don't want to push yourself so far that it then becomes counterproductive to what you're trying to do, because then now you don't have any energy for what you're trying to do. Then your health goes down bad. And that's something that I have to make sure that is priority. It's a priority. And you guys should do the same. But yeah, just know when to be still. It's okay. Like, this society will make you feel like you're not doing enough just because you're not moving around, doing things. And sometimes some of your greatest ideas come from when because you can have your gift. Your gift is going to put you into rooms. Your gift is going to allow opportunities. But I think sometimes we allow outside noises to push us past our capacity. And so I think it's very important to be mindful of that and not allow yourself to, try to, do things based off of what others feel or say looks like success. Because everyone's background or everyone's story is going to be different. So you have to just make sure that you are still being authentic and true to your walk, to your path, to your journey. Everyone's background is not going to look the same. And so you just have to be mindful of that. You don't know what theirs look like, and they're not going to know what yours look like. But as long as you're doing the work, that's all that matters. And like I said, you can actually be intentional while being still. And that doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. That just means that you're processing and being present in what's going on. And so now you're able to think like, okay, what's my next step? And learn from whatever just happened or whatever is happening, and not always doing things all the time. Sometimes that's not productive. Sometimes being still is productive. And I think that's very important. But yeah, so that's really all I had to share with you guys today. I know that we all have things going on and we all just want to be great, but just make sure that you are taking care of yourself. For me, I know that that's something that I'm trying to be very intentional about. And the thing is, I'm trying to make sure that I stay in alignment with my goals, which is one of the reasons why I moved, because of financial reasons, not because I'm doing bad financially or anything. It's just because I feel like if I'm going to do something, it has to make sense. I do want to buy a home at some point. I'm currently paying off my car, which I'll actually be done paying off my car next month. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait for that to be done. There's so many things that I'm trying to do in terms of just making sure that I'm intentional and because all your plans are not going to go exactly how you want them, like exactly how you envision them. But I do feel like if you put things in place to stay in alignment with your goals, even if it doesn't happen as planned, it could happen better than planned. And so whether it happens exactly how you plan it or better than planned, it's going to happen. So just believe that, and don't let nobody knock you off course. Okay? Period. Because that is the easiest way to not be in alignment. And so, yeah. With that being said, guys, I hope that you received everything I said. And until next time, talk to you soon.